Okay, so today I figured I'd start messing with getting this truck set up. So some of the things I need to do is headlights, I need to do wheel bearings on the steer axle at least, the brake on this side. I need to try and get some gauges working, check the fluid in the transmission and rear end, and a few random things like that. So I don't know for sure what I'm going to do first. I think I probably check the fluid in the transmission and go from there. Okay, so it's been a few days. I checked fluids in the rear end, and well, I didn't get the rear end, but I did get the transmission. I got every grease zerk on the truck greased. I pulled the seat out and tried to figure out the gas gauge. The actual thing in the tank works, so I gotta probably pull that out and figure that out. I pulled the front tires off, and I've got this hub off. I'm gonna repack wheel bearings. So that's the agenda for this morning, is to get both of those done. Other than that, I haven't done anything to it really. So I'm gonna try and get those done and back on. So we'll see how far I get. Alright, so here's the other hub. I had the one wheel bearing out of it. I gotta get the other one to come out, but this is an original wheel bearing. I believe the truck is probably a pretty low miles truck, due to what kind of shape it's in. And then this is some stuff that came with it. This is the horn for it, spark plug wire tubes that I need to reinstall, carburetor parts, some interior trim. This whole basket came with it, so window rubbers, water pump rebuild kit, some lights, wiring, belts, a few other things. So I don't know when I'll get around to installing some of this stuff, but over here I got the heater. It's probably not the original, but it's period correct, part of the bumper, and the dash panel and the ceiling panel for it. So eventually I'll get those on. I also got an extra starter over here. So eventually I'll get those two things on, but for right now I just want to get the truck drivable. So I'm going to get busy on the wheel bearings. Alright, so we got the wheel bearings repacked, hubs back on. We tried adjusting up brakes, but there's something messed up in there in the adjustment, because you got adjustment on the bottom and adjustment on the top. So we got to figure that out. I know I got another bad wheel seal. And I know I got another bad wheel cylinder. So I'm thinking about trying to just replace all four. But it started to rain, and we need it pretty bad. So I'm not going to stand out here in it and continue working on this thing. I think I'm going to go in for a while. But we got both hubs back on, so nothing will rust. And yeah, hopefully I can have this thing on the road by mid-August. We'll see. Okay, so we're doing the brakes on the 39 Ford today. So I got a new master cylinder and hoses and wheel cylinders. So we're gonna put them on. So we got it taken apart on this side, and so how these adjust is you got cams here to adjust the top side on each shoe. And then you got these anchor pins that have a cam on them, and this brass ring on the cam here goes in the shoe, an off-centered hole. So you adjust the cam through the back, and so I took this wheel cylinder out. I'm going to put the new one in. I already repacked wheel bearings. So this side we tried adjusting the brakes to make it work, and it would go and tighten up the brakes, but then it wouldn't release, and I discovered why. So here's the one I took out of there. I pulled the rubber things off of it, and that's not supposed to be in there. That side is wet. This side, it all kind of fell out here onto the ground. But yeah, it's not supposed to look like that in there. So that's why it was getting stuck out. So I'm gonna take this one, which happens to be a brand new one, and I'm gonna put it in there. Okay, so here's the new one. We're gonna go out here and put it on. My dad's cleaning up the brake shoes and stuff. The lining on the shoes looks a little worn, but it'll be alright. So, time to install this thing. Okay, well, we found out that the brake hoses are the right length, but they have the wrong thread size here. So I gotta take them back and get those guys to get me the right ones. But the master cylinder and the other parts look to be right, at least at this point. So the front wheel cylinders are the right ones, and I believe the back ones, they're at least the right ones compared to the one I gave him to compare them to. So I believe they're the right ones as well. Okay, so we're done for tonight. We got 2 of them changed, and the third one is in. We just haven't put any brakes or anything on it. Yeah, you can see how seized that is in there. I mean, this one's really bad. And here's a rear one. This was the one that was leaking all over. I haven't pulled that side off of it yet. But yeah, that's 3 of them. So I'll get the one that we just got in put together, and then change the last one, and then change master cylinder. So it's coming along. Okay, so the brake job continues on the 39 Ford. So we got this one done, and I got this one done, and they need adjusted, but they're assembled. This one's done, and this one is currently disassembled. So right now, I got the wheel cylinder off last night, and I got to pull the anchor pins out of the bottom of the shoes and clean all that up to where it actually functions, because right now I can't hardly move this shoe by hand, and I would like to have it just fall there. So I got to do that, put the new wheel cylinder in, reassemble this, and then I got the master cylinder bled as far as what you do before you hook it up. I just got to pull the one off of here, put it on, and bleed the system. The brake hoses were the wrong ones, and they're still having trouble finding me the right ones. So for now, I'm going to stick with the brake hoses that are on it because it's still good shape. So the goal for tonight is to get this one back together. So I got to put the wheel cylinder up there and reassemble this one. So with that said, I'm going to try and get it done. The goal is to have this truck on the road by the end of next week. we will see if I make it, because I got a new brake light switch too. I got to make the brake lights work at least, brakes and brake lights. Then after I get those done, then I'm going to wire up the headlights for low beam only with just some regular wire, because I'm having trouble getting an actual wiring harness for the headlights, due to this headlight switch being in the center of the steering wheel. It takes a special loom and everything. So for now, I'm probably just going to pull one of these cage bolts somebody put in the dash out and put a switch there for low beam only. So I have headlights. But first thing, brakes. I can't do anything without brakes, other than go around the circle out here, which my plan is to go beyond the circle out here. So I got to get my brakes working. Once the brakes work, I got to get brake lights. Then I can get the truck on the road and worry about headlights. And then after headlights, I got to worry about other things. But I want to try and get it on the road by the end of next week. I still need to change oil in the tranny and change oil in the rear end, because it looks like mud in both. So I got a ways to go. So I am going to get after it. Okay, so I got a little further. So you can see some shiny stuff on here. New wheel cylinder. And that's all polished up. The adjuster and the anchor pins are all polished up and everything. So I accidentally put these bolts on without this piece last night, so I had to take them off. So tonight I gotta put that on, the drum, and the tires. The emergency brake bands don't have any padding on them, so I'm leaving them out till I can get the padding put on them. They're the same width as a Model A main brake shoe, so I can get padding that way and re-rivet it on there. But I don't have. I have the riveter and padding and rivets, but I don't know where the riveter is at the moment. So for now, it's gonna go back together without parking brake assembly. I do have the axle there and the bearings and nuts and gasket, so that's what that's gonna be. So I'm gonna try and get this side done, and then we'll see when I get that done if I get any further with the master cylinder. So I went to town and picked up some stuff, some 80/90 for the rear ends, a whole gallon of brake fluid. So I also got a switch and some wiring so I can try and make some lights work. But for now, I'm going to keep going with the wheel cylinders.